Uh-oh. Ah, ah, ah. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present the Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam, my co-host Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Adam, I'm doing well. What have you been up to lately?
We recorded on Galaxy Quest yesterday, last night. Kirsten was kind of like, "Why are you talking again? What are you guys doing today? Why is there so much podcasting going on?"
Why doesn't she care about our podcast anymore?
It's been so long. It's kind of hard to sometimes.
See, my wife has never cared, so I'm just wondering.
Sometimes
for her,
I sense that you don't even care, so it's hard for me to convince her to get back on board. So no, I'm doing
well. I care about you, Adam.
And the feeling is mostly mutual. Happy to be here today talking about a real humdinger of an episode, Jordan, but we'll get there. We were talking pre-show about Titanic. You said doesn't quite do it for you. And
after we did mutual Casey Kasem impressions. Sure.
Yeah. Do yours again, and I'll do mine.
I'm not doing mine again.
Please? Come on.
Coming in at number 1 on the Billboard's top charts, we have My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
All right, I'm going to do mine. Coming in at number 1 is My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
I think yours changed halfway through.
Yours is better.
I don't do many of the voices you do, but some of them are quality.
Yeah, speaking of voices, we have not talked about this, but Regis passed away.
I know. I was actually just listening to a podcast, and
I bet I know which one.
Yeah, but no, it's I don't know if you watched him much growing up, but I did. Actually, my mom loved him, so watched a lot of that and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I was very sad to hear that. He's a very affable man, and obviously on the podcast we do some Regis quips every once in a while.
Yeah.
I wonder if younger people actually know who he is, but yeah, near and dear to our hearts.
I would doubt there's probably a lot of recognition, but yeah, we were definitely watched a lot of live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and then big millionaire household. I mean, as much as America had Desperate Housewife fever in 2005, around 2001, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We all had that fever as well, and it was. Yeah, in many ways, it was its own kind of pandemic sweeping the nation, but a much
it really was
much
like
more
a crazy.
One. It was huge.
Really, it was huge. Really, yeah, I don't know that I've ever really, especially for game shows, I've never really seen anything like it. But sad. Yeah, I think that's one thing I remembered about you're sick, you stay home from school.
Yeah, right. You get to watch those shows. Yeah,
Price is Right and Live with Regis and Kelly or Kathy Lee or whatever. So
yeah, now it's Ryan and Kelly. Okay,
Seacrest out.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, whatever happened to the good guys? Reg Gilman. Gilman's probably still there, but
I guess they got older. They aged out.
Yeah, well, R.I.P. Reg. We were fans. We were fans. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you want to talk about basketball? You said.
Well, yeah, last night basketball kicked off. The NBA season back in play, just 30 minutes away from where I'm at, and so I tuned in. I was happy to tune in, and it was good to see it back. I mean, I don't have any complaints. I'm excited for when the playoffs actually start. They have like a mini tournament going on, I guess. I don't know if you'd call it a tournament, but seeding games. And then it's going to kick off in earnest, and I think they did a good job. It's crazy to think of. They're playing basketball in a ballroom, like a giant ballroom. Sometimes.
What do you mean a ballroom?
Like it's literally like a giant ballroom with like carpeted floors, and it's just they turned it into an NBA basketball
court. Like a ball pit?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean when you say ballroom. You will have to explain it to me.
Like if you went to a wedding and it was like a big area where the reception was, maybe.
Oh, a ballroom. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I really was thinking Disney, and I guess that was probably a little dim of me, but I was thinking of just a giant ball pit. And I was going to say, well,
I don't think they go for that type of thing.
You know what? We who could say with the House of Mouse, but yeah. Okay, interesting. I didn't watch yesterday. The Bucks are on like 5:30 today. I'm planning to watch, so looking forward to it. Good to have live sports. We'll see for how long, especially with baseball. But I'm enjoying it while I have it. So
That's right. Yeah, it's very important in both of our lives. So it's good to see it
it's
back.
nice to have it back. It makes things feel a little bit more normal. So
That's right. Yeah, not as normal as this episode. You know, this is just a throwback to
I was
the
gonna
old
say, like, I don't
Home
know.
Improvement days.
yeah, this is an iconic one. This is everybody's favorite. You know, you throw out some of the big Christmas, Halloween ones, and then you gotta bring out Home Alone and say, like,
Episode
man,
190, Home
yeah,
Alone.
I love it when it's just him by himself acting.
Buffoonish.
Yeah, like no human has ever acted before or since. Yeah.
He's unique. This one's written by Jennifer Saletta and Adam England.
Yeah.
They last did Bewitched, Halloween episode you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. This one aired January 19th, 1998. I have a little bit of trivia for later in the episode, and I just thought it was appropriate because we just recorded Galaxy Quest. But Tim, in this episode, and we'll mention it when we get there as well, he does like a captain's log, basically. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that just made me think of Galaxy Quest, which we just covered, because that is a parody of Star Trek in that fandom. So
Yeah, and this is about a year prior to Galaxy Quest. So, yeah, right around the same time.
Yeah. Alternative titles. I mean, do we have to talk about the title reference? It seems pretty obvious, right? Have you ever heard of Home Alone?
It's one of my top fives.
I know it is.
Before we get into this, I do want to reiterate what I said at the end of the last show. This is, and I know IMDb ratings don't mean a lot, but when you have 204 episodes and one of them is the lowest rated, and it's this one, you got to talk about it. So this has the lowest rating of any Home Improvement episode on IMDb, a 6.0 out of 10. So it has that rare honor, that distinction. So it is ahead of Tool Time After Dark, From Top to Bottom, Trouble a Brewin', and Al's Fair Lady. Of course, I can't remember what happens in any of those, but I know.
Al's Fair Lady we covered pretty recently.
Okay.
I thought that was the one where we go to Trudy's mansion.
You're right. Okay. What's Tool Time After Dark, though?
I think that's the clip show.
People did not like the clip show. They're like, we want new stuff. Yeah.
What was the other one in the middle?
From Top to Bottom. That's Jill on the talk show, I guess, pretty recently.
Oh, yeah.
People just did not. All of these are from the clip show besides that. All these are from 98, 99. People just did not like the direction the show went in as time went on. Yeah, this episode, we'll have to talk at the end if we actually think it's the worst episode, but I could see why someone would make that case, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by any means.
All right, I have 5 alternative titles.
I have 4. I might omit some at the last minute because some of them are pretty bad.
Oh, don't be so hard on yourself, Jordan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
First one's Tim v. Tim.
Okay. What a novel idea.
How about Tim the Manuscript Tailor?
Could have been anything in there. I like that.
I know, right?
Mentally unstable.
Okay. I don't even... Oh, I guess I remember this one now. I was like, what happens here? Falling asleep on the job.
Okay. Booking it to the strip club. It's kind of gross that his first thought when everybody left was like, should I go to the strip club?
Right, yeah, it was a little weird. Yeah. My last one is solitary refinement.
That's pretty good. All right, I have 2 more. This is a reference to a big-time rant from, I don't know, maybe 2010 or so.
A rant from you? Is this
no,
an Adam's beef list?
Oregon State football coach. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not some kid. This Tim's a man and he's 40.
Do you have one more?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a reference to Home Alone. I made my family disappear.
Ooh. Good. I like that.
Thank you.
Do we have to talk about the episode now?
I just
you know what? Sometimes it's better when we talk about the episode. Sometimes it makes for funny conversation, I guess.
I don't like... I kind of just have to wonder why they did this. Like, I was kind of thinking on trivia, was I going to find out that, like, people weren't available or something? Like, is PR filming, like, Yuli's Gold? Or, like, is everybody else, like, out of town? And that's why they have to do this, because of restrictions? But otherwise, I don't know why you would want to do this.
Yeah, it's really weird. You just take all the dynamics out of the show.
Yeah, and guess what is, like, never really effective? Inner monologue stuff. I mean, like, every once in a while you can use it, like, I
But
don't know.
it's heavily relied on here.
Yeah, this is, like, all there is. I don't know. Okay, let's just get into it. No
All right,
sense,
we're gonna
no
open
sense
on-
dancing around it, you know?
No dancing around. We're opening on Tool Time. It's a salute to international relations. They
Yeah.
talk about...
I mean, obviously, immediately I'm worried, you know.
I was a little worried. It could have been worse, I guess.
Could have
but
been worse, yeah.
They're talking about international competition or cooperation. And they bring out Mr. Nakamura, who is the guest today. He is a head of a Japanese manufacturing organization.
May I jump in with a bio?
Please.
Nobuo Nakamura is played by Getty Watanabe. 85 credits to his name, best known for 16 Candles, UHF, Mulan, the OG, and Gremlins 2, the new batch. Recently, he's still pretty active. I don't recognize any of these things. The Disappointments, Perfect Harmony, Bravest Warriors. It looks like maybe some voice work, but yeah, good to see this guy still in the fold, doing the damn thing, Jordan.
He played Mulan, huh?
Specifically,
Ling.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not a Mulan. I've only probably seen it once, so.
There's like 3 soldiers that Mulan encounters, and that's one of them. So,
nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Tim messes up some Japanese as he's trying to bond with Mr. Nakamura. Something about frolicking in trousers.
This is like the go-to. This
is the go-to joke.
This is the go-to joke where it's like he tries, you know, like I don't know, we were doing this for like, 40 years, I felt like, where it's like, you say something in a language and then, but it's actually really crazy because you said the wrong thing. You know, it's just like, crazy. You said you want me to wipe your butt? Oh, man, and you meant to say hi? It's just like,
I never thought about it before, but it's definitely a trope.
Oh my God, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Very strange. I mean, not strange, but yeah, just play it out.
It's just like lazy, you know?
Very late.
Yeah.
They're going to go over some Japanese high tech, and he does have a line where he's like, behold the future, and then they unveil the tech, and it's like this grabber with a hand, like a plastic hand on it, and apparently they called the wrong...
lazy grabber.
Lazy grabber. They called the wrong guy because they meant to get some like high-tech manufacturing company, but they got some novelty stuff. So we've got this weird noodle guard, which just goes on your face. Yeah. This plastic thing. A tissue dispenser. Now this one nobody's buying, right?
You mean the TP on the head?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think...
Was that a bridge too far, Adam?
Who's buying any of this stuff? I don't know.
Well, the lazy grabber, people use that for like picking up trash at least.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but not
with the hand.
Not with the hand.
No.
The lazy grabber looked like a Halloween decoration that we had in my house growing up, where it would like just kind of stick. We like had like a fake arm that we could stick under the couch, and it looked like somebody was down there. A lot of fun, a lot more fun than lazy grabber.
That's another use for this, though.
Yes.
They need you in the marketing department.
Maybe this is not a novelty store; it's a Halloween store.
What do you think you use the noodle guard for?
For Halloween?
Yeah. Is it something where you can like peel back your face, you know, and make it like a scary face?
I think you like put like you put like fake plastic or like plastic that's supposed to look like metal bars across it, and then it's just kind of a mask, you know? Weird mask, kind of a confusing mask everybody can kind of, I don't know, talk about, have fun with.
The tissue paper you're gonna have a hard time dealing with, but
yeah, that's a mess. Yeah, quite
the
literally.
The grin grabber.
Tim's
not impressed. Yeah, Tim's not impressed with all this stuff, and Nobo puts on his grin grabber, which is just like glasses with these little levers that make your face smile. I don't know, not a good joke here where they're talking about. It says like, you don't look happy, but look at your grin grabber. Something stupid. It's not good.
I was, we get out of this pretty much unscathed, I would say, from a offensive perspective. I mean, obviously the frolicking in trousers thing isn't great, but I thought it was going to be a lot worse. You do get
at the same time, there was an albatross flying over, bringing bad news, bad omens.
Indeed, yes. You do get a weird, Japanese economy joke that Tim, basically looks at the camera for. Didn't mean much to me, but apparently...
What was the joke?
he was like, well, these novelty gags ought to help the Japanese economy. And then he like looked at the camera like we were all supposed to be like, yeah, Japanese economy needs a lot of help right now. So I don't know. I
think there was like a deflation problem that they were having, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, well, I'm more familiar with stagflation, so it makes sense I wouldn't quite have got that.
It's funny that would be a joke that they do on the show, though.
Yeah, that's not the audience for Home Improvement.
No.
Not a lot of economists and... I mean,
crack
maybe
open
there
the
are.
old Wall Street Journal and
Maybe
tune into
there
Home
are.
Improvement.
It's like, I'm going to go to the opera, but I need to get home by 8 so I can watch Home Improvement.
Don't forget your grin grabber. You gotta bring that to the
yes.
opera.
It's going to be hard to cover the next couple scenes because it's just short. We're jumping around, but I'm going to do my darndest. After the show, we find out that the family's leaving Tim. Al kind of wants to know if he's interested in hanging out, but Tim needs to work on his Binford book that he was commissioned to write a while back. He already spent the advance, and now he's got... Deadline is Monday, and he's been putting it off.
They're
3
gonna
chapters.
go bankrupt.
What? This is a classic, like, Home Improvement needs to decide how famous is Tim, because, like, nobody's reading this book. And, like, if it... I don't know. Who's this book for? Like, I know why Tim Allen would write a book, but not...
He's a local Michigan celebrity, you know? Just wait till he starts his podcast, then he'll have an audience.
So you're saying, like, Tim's book is on the same shelf as, like, the Michigan Chiller series? Spirits of St. Ignace, that kind of thing? Gargoyles of Gaylord?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, it seems like fine, whatever. He's famous enough at this point, I guess, is the way that... If they're doing satellite, stuff throughout the United States to put this kind of stuff on air, then yeah, whatever, he can write a book, I guess. I just thought I was disappointed because I feel like anything that Tim and Al could have done together, as Al wants to do, would have been more interesting than what they did. So.
Oh yeah, it would have been a lot better episode if Al's just like hanging out. I don't know. I'll do the next scene though. Short. Home. Tim is standing at the door. There are voiceovers from all of the cast. Jill, Brad, Mark saying goodbye. Tim closes the door and he's very happy. And this is where the voiceover starts, the inner monologue specifically, and it doesn't stop. It's just sort of like, it's very stream of consciousness, like just very hyper, all over
jumping
the place,
around,
jumping around, which I understand, like that's how minds work generally, but it isn't a fun thing to listen to. It's annoying. That's why people don't usually do this in shows. So he's thinking, should I take a nap, go to a strip club, drag race?
First a snack.
First a snack. A lot of food in the fridge. Jill was nice to prep a lot of stuff for him. Wonder how long they're going to be gone for, because there's like a lot of meals in there.
They didn't mention where they're going, did they?
No, they didn't. That would have been interesting.
I guess they have that cabin up north, so maybe that's it.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Tim orders pizza, but as he's ordering, the inner monologue is like, I don't know. He wants to make it healthy or can't decide. And that's basically it. I don't know where he settles on the pizza, but
he orders one, I think, but there's like this weird thing where he's like, okay, I gotta get down to writing.
Yeah.
He sits down to write and he's like calculating how fast he can write.
Yeah.
And he thinks he can write 120 pages in 4 hours, which is impressive.
30 pages an hour. I guess I'll jump to the next scene. It's just kind of, we jump to later a lot, so he's struggling to write. And this is just like, this episode is the dumbest they've made Tim in a really long time, if not ever. Like, it's just so buffoonish. I thought, like, I mean, I don't, this seems like a different person than the Tim of, say, like, the cancer scare episode, or like, I don't know, the Tim that we generally see. He's just so silly and cartoonish. The phone rings as he's settling into work, and it's a woman named Mary Lou, and she's I assume a telemarketer, and she's trying to sell him, like, long distance minutes or something. And he's so willing to or so reluctant to settle down and get to work that he talks to her for seemingly hours on end,
Yeah,
it's just so funny though, right?
It's hilarious how distracted he is.
Are you laughing out there, everybody? Are you laughing?
I did laugh thinking about how we used to have to pay for long distance minutes. I thought that was kind of strange.
My dad, I talked about my dad's like fleet of vending machines he had on here ever.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, it's a long conversation. Okay, I'll make it short. So my dad like got into vending machine stuff for a while. For probably like 10 years, he did vending machines. Like he bought them and he had them at different places and he would fill them. He just kind of did it all by himself. And he made
This was a side business, right?
yeah, side business. Like he had it at Hank Graff and Davison, Regal Press, which is kind of out by you in Bellamy. There's a couple different places. And he did it for a long time. And he made good money and so on. And, I would help him out a little bit. But then he made the unfortunate business decision of getting into phone card machines right around the time of cell phones. And I remember he bought these phone card machines, and that there was one at the 7-Eleven kind of over across from Arby's in Davison, and it was 3.9 cents a minute for the phone cards. But it didn't last very long, and financially it was a pretty big hit because cell phones were right around the corner. But it did make me think of this. Yeah, so my dad, a mini mogul, one might say.
Mini mogul.
Very mini.
Yeah, that's too bad that the second one didn't work out. Because what would have been next? He could have kept going and expanded his business to an empire.
I know the vending machine stuff was a pretty good gig. Like, I don't know. I remember
you weren't really dealing with people, right? You're just kind of like going in.
No, the only downside of it would be like the machines, like as time went on, the machines just kind of were outdated and crappy, and they'd break a lot, and then it would just require a lot of maintenance and stuff. But a lot of going to Sam's Club, picking up stuff. We always had a ton of snacks in our barn, just out there storage, so I could have access to candy bars and cinnamon rolls and stuff, and that was obviously really beneficial for me back then. But I did enjoy it. A lot of Mountain Dew. Those were the glory days, my man. But
you were always hyped up on Mountain Dew, so that explains it.
Yeah, I love Mountain Dew. That's why I haven't had it in 10 years, but I loved it back then.
The old days. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I didn't even really know that. So.
Well, there are some parts of my life I like to keep secret from you.
Yeah, until today. On this podcast.
Yes.
You can talk about our parents' side gigs. Yeah. That's great. All right. Okay, so Mary Lou convinced him to join some plan or whatever, and later he's on the computer and he's having chats with Cyber Fred in cyberspace, which made me laugh because no one ever uses like the word cyber anymore to mean the internet.
No, I don't even. Yeah, I missed that whole thing. If I hear it in like 90s movies and stuff, but I never heard the internet really called cyber or anything. I mean, I guess cyber sex was the thing people would say the most, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that a lot, I feel like, in First Kid, too, so it's just kind of
cyber. Yeah, well, the guy, Fred, is pretending to be Marlon Brando. He's catfishing him, a la Randy.
No, I thought Tim was catfishing him.
We're all catfishing each other in this messy
true.
World.
It's very... So he basically says, you know what the problem is? He's just like every modern person. The internet gets him distracted. He can't focus on one thing. Yeah. He needs to buy one of those productivity apps, but they're not out yet. So he says... Let's get back to basics. He finds pens, paper, pencils. Then we have the stream of consciousness stuff going on. So he's like, why is it called a legal pad? And then he starts playing with his pencil. It turns into a rocket ship. He starts drawing a man picking his nose. Then he stumbles on a new idea because this obviously isn't working. What if I dictate my thoughts into a tape recorder?
Yeah. Good stuff.
Captain's log.
Yeah.
He pretends to be, this is like a mock Star Trek scene basically to start. And then he actually starts saying things, kind of. He's like, men, something, men versus women energy. And then he instantly, is ready to try a different space. He wants to go in the garage, thinks he'll be more creative there. And just as he's heading in to be what he thinks is productive, the pizza finally arrives. And turns out he opens the door. And he gets into a pizza conversation.
I mean, it's better than... I'd rather hear a pizza conversation than what we've been hearing so far.
Yeah, we're talking about GTOs and cars, and so he takes him in to show.
Jordan, may I jump in with a bio?
May you cut in? Yes, you can.
May I cut in? I forgot about that. Kenny is played by Thomas Bankowski. Jordan, Kenny is known for The Shield, Outside Sales, The Michael Richards Show. That was the show that he did after Seinfeld that was even better in Boston Legal. So 16 credits to his name. Last appeared in an episode of Boston Legal in 2008. So he's out of the game. And, from what I hear, he's much happier. post.
Yeah, that was
Hollywood.
I saw on his website, his kind of goodbye letter to Hollywood, and it seems like
Well, you told me you subscribe to Sperry mailing list and his Thomas Bankowski mailing
those
list.
are the only two things that I subscribe to.
Yeah,
That's
well, that's yeah.
I want my shoes and
two
I
of the
want
best.
my news.
You want your Bankowski, and I want my MTV. So, all right, yeah, keep going. You're doing a great job.
Great. We're in the garage now, and I suppose it's probably been an hour or so. I wonder if Tim ate the pizza because it's probably gonna get cold. I guess we don't really know. But the pizza guy obviously
he eats the whole pizza later.
Oh, okay. So it's gonna be cold pizza. But the pizza guy has been trying to leave for quite some time, and he can't really get out. Tim is really stalling, and finally the pizza guy, extracts himself from the situation. So, I'm glad he got out of there safely. I wonder what happened when he got back in the car to deliver another pizza.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you wonder about?
I mean, if you're his boss, you're wondering what took him so long to deliver that pizza, and then, you got what happened with the other pizzas that need to be delivered. Tim could have cost this guy his job. I hope he got a big tip.
The dilemma, indeed. Tim does not strike me as a good tipper. But I heard you mention cold pizza earlier, and I didn't know we were talking about ESPN2.
I almost made the same joke, but I'm glad you didn't let it go.
That's a 1%er. All right, garage. Tim has eaten the entire pizza. Oh, you already said that. Okay. Guy leaves. Tim the notes are so hard to take because
it is really hard
it's
because
impossible.
There's very little
and
happening.
Nothing of substance happens, so you can't demarcate it by blank comes in, new setting, etc. All right, the guy leaves. Tim lays down and falls asleep, and this is
before that he does some farting into the recorder, so that's classy.
I didn't even bother getting that down. All right, this is where we get. I don't know. It's very surreal.
That's true.
It starts with a newspaper montage, kind of like Tim has written the new hot book, and he's on.
It's going well. Yeah, it's really going well.
He's on the publicity circuit. He's going to be on a show called Lisa, which was not a real show. I looked it up.
Okay, I wondered after I saw what he goes on next.
It's weird because the other. We'll get there, but so it's the fake show Lisa, and then you guys ever hear about this new book written by this guy Tim Taylor? Jay Leno monologue. Jay and Tim are thick as thieves. We get Oprah, which is
shock.
Man,
I was shocked at this moment.
she must have not been clear to her what she was doing. Someone must have framed it in a different way, because if she knew what this was, I don't think she'd want to be a part of it. Somebody mentions that it's the most successful book of all time, second only to the Bible, so obviously very big. The pizza guy, to show it's a dream, random people are showing up. The pizza guy is interviewing Jill, and then interviewing Brad, and Brad is happy, and he's kind of trying to, sort of reap the benefits.
Boy, you skipped over the joke where...
Anything I skipped over, I did for good reason.
Jill, in this dream, Jill says, Tim's really good in bed, and then Brad says, I am also similar to my dad in that way, basically.
He's like, yeah, you hear when my mom said my dad's good at sex? Yeah,
Me
I'm also
too.
good at sex, just like my mom said about my dad. Yeah, weird.
Then Mark one-upped everybody.
What did he say?
He started talking about orgies.
Mark's like, I'm actually the best at sex in this family, and if you want proof, here's my videotapes. Mark doesn't believe it. We're on the red carpet. Tim's walking in. The pizza guy is continuing to interview him. Now he's at a podium. And there's a bikini model. This sounds like I'm making it up, but I swear to God.
It does sound like you're making it up.
Then there's a bikini model who gives him $10 million and a Ferrari.
Wow.
But he has to read the book at the podium. It's a speaking engagement. He opens the book, Jordan, and there are no words.
So these were all pre-orders? That's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty good. You guys, I got to pre-order this book written by this guy, Tim Taylor.
I couldn't get any pre-orders for my book, but Tim, whew.
Did you get $10 million in a Ferrari or no?
If I did, I would not be doing this podcast.
Okay, well that's nice of you to say, Jordan.
I'd be driving around with you in my Ferrari.
Ooh, yeah, our fleet of Ferraris. Ferrari is a funny car for someone to have. I I was thinking the other day, the funniest car for someone to have, like just like a civilian, is got to be a Hummer. Because it's just like, what are you doing with a Hummer? What do you need a Hummer for? It just seems so unnecessary. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
You think a lot of weird things, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like a lot of people, creative minds, they're just sort of always moving, and I think that might be something you probably don't have to deal with as much.
What? I don't get what you're insinuating.
Oh, never mind. Tim scares himself awake. The dream's over.
Thank goodness, because not for him. I guess it did turn into a nightmare, but for me, it was a nightmare the whole time.
I almost used "Sweet Dream" or "Beautiful Nightmare," but I probably used that 3 or 4 times before as an alternative
would have been
title.
Appropriate, but yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you go into Wilson's garage, and I guess this is where we play a clip. I don't even care if we play a clip with this one. Do whatever you want.
Let's not do it. I don't want to spend any extra time on this one. We're in Wilson's garage. And right before the scene, Tim talks about how he needs some coffee to kind of, get amped up again. And Tim is amped up to start the scene. He's like talking a mile a minute, where his mind was racing before. Now his tongue is racing, and Wilson's like, "Calm down, Tim." I think this is kind of funny. I think so. He only had to write 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, it's not even like he had to deliver a whole book. He couldn't pull that off. But he's up to 1 paragraph. And he's talking about how he can't get his thoughts onto paper. And his topic he describes to Wilson is about men, who they are, what makes them tick. It's a big subject and tough for someone like Tim to tackle, and so I think that's why he's struggling here.
Yeah,
so.
Someone at Bedford should have been like, let's hone in on this idea before we pay you any money.
Yeah, I can't believe they just wrote him a blank check, basically.
I know, seriously. Yeah.
Wilson, I don't remember who he's quoting here, but he says, the man who writes...
George Bernard Shaw.
George Bernard Shaw. He says, the man who writes about himself writes about all. So, narrow the scope a bit, basically. And on the way out, he basically talks about the origin of the word gum and talks about Gumby.
He's so
it's
annoying.
Bad.
He's so annoying.
It's really bad.
It's so annoying, yeah.
Yeah, Wilson wants him to go just as much as we do, so...
I'll say. Yeah, keep going, Jordan.
We are back at the laptop, and Tim is pecking away at some chapters here. The clock is playing tricks on him. What does this mean?
I don't know why this is... Is it just like he's been awake too long?
Yeah, there's too much coffee in the system. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm a big coffee drinker. Never happened to me.
You got the wrong clock.
I guess.
He talks about men in the bathroom. I don't know what he says about that, but I think he's going on a rant about men in the bathroom, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't write it.
It's okay. Yeah, there's a reason I stopped taking detailed notes here. Yeah. Later, finally, he's gotten 3 chapters done. Boy, I wouldn't want to read those.
Oh, no.
No way. And he's even got a little bit of extra time to knock out the dedication. We didn't mention this joke earlier on.
Yeah, it's because it's one of the worst jokes this show's ever done.
And they do a callback here, basically, where all he's doing on the keyboard is like holding down a letter and then grunting to it. So he's like,
ooh, yeah.
It's really dumb. So they do that twice.
Yeah, this and he does
double
like
down.
Dedicated to me.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. And then
final
scene. Finish her off. Put us out of our misery.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out the old shotgun here.
Lord. My God! Here's a living, breathing human being.
Later, Brad is reading Tim's manuscript because nobody else would, and for good reason. And the words are surprisingly eloquent for what we've seen Tim do the whole episode. Talk about men facing their fears, talking about their feelings, men becoming fathers. Some nice moment here between Brad, and then Tim starts to analyze everything Brad says and does, and kind of like chases him out of the room. Which is
not something he's been doing the whole episode. They act like that's been like a thread, but like that wasn't anything that was happening throughout. Like he wasn't like analyzing himself and thinking critically about why he's doing things. I don't know why they decided to add this tag at the end.
Yeah. Episode 190.
Roll credits, fade to black. Home Alone, aka.
Solitary refinement.
I made my family disappear. Jordan, Lowe's? Lowe's on Castle's Corner?
Can we think of any highs in this episode?
I don't.
The only time that I think I was slightly amused, which was a very small amusement, was when the Japanese Nakamura, Japanese high tech scene where Nakamura like reveals the tools and he says, "Behold the future," and it's like all this crap, basically.
I guess that in and of itself is like kind of a funny idea that they thought they were getting this like tech guy mogul and they got a novelty shop. I mean, like how it happened, I couldn't tell you. They flew this guy all the way from Japan and they just
Details.
they didn't vet him. I guess that's a funny idea, sort of, or like a acorn of an idea, but in general,
Acorn of an idea.
I did not get I mean, I guess like anytime Jay Leno's on the show, like maybe there's something there, but even Jay Leno's silly ass couldn't.
It's a bad episode when Jay Leno and Oprah cannot save it.
Yeah, this is a crazy episode to have Oprah in, by the way. Okay, let's think about this more structured. Lows. It's just, I'm going to be thinking to myself here if this is the worst episode ever, and perhaps the reason it would be is because it's just so difficult to watch, and that Tim is so annoying. Like, the internal monologue stuff is just like, it's just so all over the place. It never stops. It's not funny. It doesn't make sense. And it's almost the entire plot. I mean, there's some interplay between characters, but like it's just too much of Tim's inner monologue, and like the jokes are bad and it's just like annoying, and he's so buffoonish and like not like any kind of person you've ever met or like any kind of version of Tim this show's tried to do. Struggling to write a book in and of itself is a fine idea, whatever, but like they did it in the worst possible way. Like you need to have people with Tim, even the Wilson scene, like, you know, like Tim's still being so annoying and just like scattershot and illogical that like it doesn't work because Wilson can't even talk to him because he's just like Gumby, blah, I'm a freaking insane person. So like, yeah, and then like the dream sequence, like, I don't know. Home Improvement has done dreams a lot. This was definitely the strangest one. Did I like it? No, it's all bad. It's weird, I guess. Interesting to see these guest stars, but like, I don't know. It's just all over the place. I found this really, really difficult to sit through and watch, and it almost just like gave me a headache. Like, so I guess maybe this is the worst episode of Home Improvement ever because like, I will never, ever want to watch it again. And I really struggle to come up with any positives to say whatsoever. And even the worst episodes of Home Improvement, usually I can say something positive, but there's just nothing here. And I'm home alone, and I'm out in the cold, and I don't like it.
Do you want me to come over?
I mean, it's going to take you a while. Actually, you're in Florida. Go ahead and stay there. I've struggled enough lately with things. What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, I already talked about how there was really only one thing I liked, so I don't really think we need to talk anymore about this, honestly. All right. So,
is this the worst episode?
Oh man,
is this worse than, say, Future Shock?
At least Future Shock has some like computer graphic stuff going on, right?
Well, they're in like old age makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I guess I would be interested in watching that one more than I would be this one. So yeah, right. I guess it is.
All right, well, there you have it. IMDb is right. This is a stinker.
This is a stinker. Let's move on to social media. If you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomeandpodcast.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. We just recorded an episode of Galaxy Quest. If you'd like to get that episode, you can donate $1 a month on patreon.com/homeandpodcast, and you'll also get the backlog of all the other episodes that we've done. There's probably at least 10 to 15, I would think.
Yeah,
of
I would say so.
Movie reviews, Cheers, different TV shows, whatever.
Yep.
They're all on there. So go to patreon.com/homeandpodcast. I did want to follow up briefly on our conversation last episode.
I read this. This is insane.
Yeah, we talked about like cars being stolen, and I said I know my parents have had a couple cars stolen, but my mom chimed in and she said they've had four cars stolen. It's insane.
It seems impossible to me.
It
but
does seem
she
impossible,
gave so
doesn't
much
it?
detail on 2 of them that it just.
If there's one thing my mom isn't, it's a liar.
She's not a liar, but man, I far be it from me to criticize your mother and father, but there was something wrong that they were doing to have that happen 4 times. There has to be.
I just don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine they were locking the doors, but it's just like, how could you possibly get targeted 4 times? The cars are too nice for the area or something? I don't know.
Hey, could be. I don't know, a little rich boy, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, so 4 times. 2 Rivieras, a pickup, and a Blazer.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Crazy stuff. Well, also, one of them, your mom was your mom had to testify in court because the guys broke out of, like, a county jail and stole the car, and then it's just, like, crazy.
Yeah, they were car thieves, and then they stole her car, and she thought it was a joke initially.
She had to testify.
So my mom is like a 3rd shift worker, so she works all night. So she had that parked in the parking lot and came out in the morning, and it was gone.
Crazy, just crazy. All right, well, I appreciate her chiming in and kind of speaking up, because we were curious, and it was even more wild than I could have imagined. So thank you, Lil Dauber.
Little Dauber. All right, Adam, what's going on Twitter?
All right, Twitter. Let's get there. We're just having some fun on Twitter, tweeting, atting, liking, retweeting, having a good time. Polling, a lot of polling. Hey, Anthony Hefner wants to know, what will you be doing after the podcast ends in a couple months?
Wow.
And I said,
beats me.
I said, we talked about this yesterday, unsure as of now. We both kind of have different ideas about the future. And I think that is probably still where we're at. So
I would like to hear if people have certain ideas, just not that we'll do them, but it would be curious to know what people might be interested in for us to do, whether it be podcasting or something else. So
well, they would probably wonder what the something else is, because that would even be unclear to me. One thing we won't do is, I've said this once and I'll say it again, I'm not touching Last Man Standing, so don't even ask.
Don't even mention it. We're not interested at all.
Don't even bother.
Zero interest in that.
This was a nice thing that Seth, a.k.a. Saginaw Cheese, said. I've really enjoyed and appreciated this show. I've made it a point not to ever listen to you guys while I'm at work or doing something I don't enjoy. I never want to associate home and podcasts with anything less than a pleasant experience. I thought that, really kind words.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yep.
That's what we do the show for, people like that.
Yes. Scrolling up. Ever had a car stolen? Poll. 30 total votes. Your mom might have been the only yes, because 3.3% said yes, 96.7% said no.
You know what? When it rains, it pours, though. Once you get one car stolen,
I tell you what, it is sort of it is almost a guarantee that
you got a bullseye on your car.
With one stolen, you get 2 to 4 stolen, definitely. Brett Hetherington said, not stolen, but I had one broken into in the 10-year-old CD player. Speakers were stolen out of it. TJ Young said, not a car, a very nice bike, still sucks. Hey TJ, I'm talking about cars, okay?
I've had a bike stolen. Come on.
I've had a bike stolen. Wait around for my bike pull, TJ. Jesus says, my first car was stolen but recovered. So, in what shape, we don't know.
TBD.
Other poll. Okay. Who would you want hosting your home improvement podcast? This is based on our conversation last week.
I'm very interested to hear the results here.
Well, I'll tell you, it was close, Jordan. So the options were Karn, Debbie Dunning, that was mine, or ZTB and JTTU. 43 total votes. 44.2% said Karn, Debbie Dunning. 55.8% said ZTB and JTT. Your mother, star of the show, said that she thought it was too hard to pick, but she did settle with ZTB and JTT. Bremen's Britta said, I love JTT, but ZTB is too Trumpy for me.
They got to balance each other out.
Yeah,
maybe.
perhaps that wouldn't be as much of a
That's
thing.
what everyone always says about you. You're too Trumpy.
Please don't. No, that's never been said about me, and it never will be said, unless it's completely in jest. Sarah Shortstuff said, I think with ZTB and JTB... it's really hard to say these. ZTB and JTT... it would end up being a political debate. I'd like to see Patricia Richardson and Richard Karn do it. Hey, that's great, but that wasn't
wasn't an
option. I don't know what.
You can't make your own rules.
Hey, these are my polls. I am the Dr. Frankenstein, and they're my monster. Vote for what
Vote
you're
or
given.
die.
You know what? Vote for what you're given. I don't want to hear your idea. Yeah, I do. I'm just kidding. Too critical. What else we got here? Oh yeah, Tim Allen was like trending the other day. No one really knew why. It wasn't that interesting. And that's really it. So
It's always worrisome, so I'm glad it was nothing.
with him, it's like, I don't know, is it like something he said? Is he dead, etc.? But he's doing fine. So don't worry about Tim.
Good. Wow, that was robust, as usual. So, all right. Tell us what you want us to do in the future, and we might do it. We probably won't, though. All right.
I mean, I tell you what I want to do in the future, and you won't even do that. So I'm not having a lot of faith that you would listen to what people say.
I felt like I was open to our conversation.
So you say, but everything changes.
You want to air the grievances right now?
Everything changes with you so quickly. No, I don't want to air the grievances. But let's just say you dropped out of our fantasy football league, and now I don't even who knows what's going to happen next. So
Adam, I will always ask you how you're doing in tennis.
Oh, so. That's true. That is true. Yeah, that's all I got for today. So kind of a shorter one, but you know what? This episode sucked. So being able to talk about it for more than 15 minutes feels like a badge of honor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we accomplished a lot today, and next week we're gonna accomplish something called knee deep.
That could be almost anything, and I look forward to it.
You think something got flooded?
Okay, I was thinking like maybe they're on a farm.
We'll find out next week.
No, Tim and everybody leaves, and it's Brad's internal monologue episode, and he's got to write a paper. Oh, I would off
and he's
myself.
knee deep in trouble.
That would be tough. All right, well, hey, Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening, and I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.